everyone, I am Michaela Kathleen, and for this video I'm going to be doing a 5-star prediction TBR tour. So for this TBR tour, I'm not going to get too much into like my TBR processes. It will probably be a little bit shorter than my other 2 TBR tours. And I'm not going to talk about my reread shelf at all because obviously I know my star ratings for my rereads already. So it would be kind of cheating for a 5-star prediction game, I guess is what you would call this. But yeah, basically I'm just going to be going through my TBR and predicting which books I think will end up being 5-star reads. So you'll kind of get a little kind of a TBR update, but also a little more added fun of having these predictions. And when I include these books on my eventual wrap-ups, I'll try to remember to note which ones were 5-star predictions and whether or not that ended up being true. But yeah, jumping right in with my top shelf here, Dry by Neal Shusterman. This is one that you would think I would give a 5-star prediction to because one of my childhood favorites is Downsiders by Neal Shusterman, and I'm super excited for Scythe by Neal Shusterman. That's the book on my TBR that I am the most excited for. So you would think Dry would also be a 5-star prediction, but I don't know. There's just something about it that I don't think it's going to be a 5-star read for me. I don't know why. It's kind of a dystopian, which I like dystopians. It's by an author that I like. I'm very excited for one of the other books by him that's on my shelf, but there's just something about this book that I don't think it's going to be a 5-star read. I don't know why, I just have this gut feeling. But moving on, the other 4 books over here are Sadie, Alex and Eliza, The Cellar, and Monday's Not Coming. Sadie, I'm not so sure about. I've heard that it's really good as an audiobook, but I don't really listen to audiobooks. And it's kind of a murder mystery situation, which I'm not always my favorite, so I don't think that it will be a 5-star read for me. Although it does sound like it'll be very dramatic. And then Alex and Eliza, I hope will be a 5-star read for me. I love Hamilton the musical, and this is a story following Alexander Hamilton and Eliza Schuyler, and so I'm pretty excited for this one and hoping that it will be a 5-star read. The Cellar I have pretty low expectations for. I kind of grabbed it just from a sales area. There was like buy 2 get 1 free, but it was only certain books, and that was just kind of the 3rd one that I grabbed in order to fulfill the having 3 for the deal. And so I have pretty low expectations for it. And then Monday's Not Coming is, again, kind of a mystery situation like Sadie. So even though it has a really cool cover, I don't know if it's going to be a 5-star read, but I'm very intrigued by it. And then Me Before You, I don't think will be a 5-star read. It's a straight-up romance, which I don't usually get too excited by straight-up romances. I liked the movie quite a bit, but I don't think it'll be a 5-star read. I have read one other book by Jojo Moyes, and I liked it quite a bit, but it was not a 5-star, so I don't think this one will be either. I would be surprised if it was. And then we come to Scythe, which is the most exciting book on my TBR. I very much expect it to be a 5-star read. I am so excited to read this one. It's been on my TBR for so long, and it's still got a fairly long ways to go until I get to it, but I just can't wait. And then below that, you probably can't see it, is Moxie by Jennifer Matthew. And this one just looks like a really fun feminist read, and so I'm not as confident about it being a 5-star as Scythe, but I kind of hope that this one is a 5-star read. And then we have a Skyward by Brandon Sanderson, which is a book that I picked up. It's the first book that I picked up because of BookTube. I put it on my Christmas list last year because everyone on BookTube was raving about it and the cover was so pretty. But I've never read Brandon Sanderson, and this one seems to be kind of a sci-fi space drama, which outer space stuff doesn't usually interest me as much as like just fantasy books. So I'm not sure if this one will be a 5-star read or not, but I do have high hopes for it. And then finally down here at the bottom of the shelf, we have Again But Better by Christine Riccio, which is my first book that is by a booktuber. So that's exciting, and I'm excited to read it. And it sounds like a really fun concept. It sounds like a fun read. I've heard that YouTuber books can be questionable. I would hope that YouTuber books tend to be a little better. But yeah, I'm excited. I don't know if it'll be a 5-star read, but I'm hopeful that it'll be at least a really fun read. And then moving down to the second shelf here, over on the left, we have some series. So some of these I have started already, so I have a little bit of pre-knowledge on how much I think I'll like them, but we'll do the predictions anyways. So starting off, we have The Knife of Never Letting Go, which I have read the first one, and pretty soon I'm going to read the trilogy straight through from the beginning. And the first one was a 5-star read for me, so I'm really hopeful that the series keeps it up and the next two are also 5-star reads. And then below that we have the Replica duology by Lauren Oliver, which this one was actually a bit of a disappointment for me. I expected the first one to be a 5-star read, and it ended up being a 3-star for me. So I don't have very high hopes for the sequel. And then at the bottom here we have The Program by Suzanne Young, which I've read the first one again, but none of the others yet. I'm planning to read the first 3 the next time I get started on the series. It's kind of a long series, so I want to kind of take it in chunks, especially if the quality starts going down. Who knows, I might not finish the series. But the first one was a 4-star read for me, so I'm hopeful that I will enjoy the whole series, but I don't think any of them will be 5-star reads. Over here on the right, we have kind of more serious books. So I don't really have a lot over here that I think are gonna be 5 stars. But I am very excited for Born a Crime by Trevor Noah. And then down here, we have just randomly all by itself, Icelandic Folk Legends, which I don't know if this will be a 5-star read, but I do think it'll be super interesting. And I got this from the Bibliophilic Excursions subscription box, just as a side note, as well as Born a Crime by Trevor Noah. And yeah, that's it for my 5-star predictions over on my book cart, but I also have a rather large TBR overflow shelf over in the closet, so we'll move over there and take a look at those books. All right, please excuse the mess of electronics down here. This is my overflow TBR shelf. So we'll just sort of move from left to right, skipping the treatment, of course, because it is the sequel to The Program. And moving on to The Goose Girl, which I've read the first 2 books and I have 1 left to go, and the first 2 were both 3 stars. Oh, I have 2 left to go. Sorry, there are 4 books in that series. But yeah, so since the first 2 were 3 stars, I don't expect the next 2 to go any differently. And then we have a string of kind of more serious books: Independent People, The Secret Papers of Madame Olivetti, Tuesdays with Maury, The Absolutely True Diary of a Part-Time Indian, The Inventions of Wings, My Sister the Serial Killer, and The Mothers. None of these really fall super into my wheelhouse, and so I don't necessarily expect them to be 5-star reads for me personally. Independent People might be quite interesting. It's another book that I got from the Bibliophilic Excursions box, and it takes place in Iceland, and it's apparently like a really, really well-received book in Iceland. So I think that one could be really interesting, but I don't know if it's really going to be a 5-star read for me. And then My Sister the Serial Killer has a really interesting concept, but again, it's kind of a thriller, mystery, murder mystery type of a situation, which is just not my favorite genre. So while it sounds like a really interesting concept and it sounds pretty dramatic, I don't, again, know if it'll be a 5-star read for me. And then again, Britt Bennett is a really well-respected author so far. I think she has The Mothers and The Vanishing Half, and I think that's all, but they were both really well received, and I think just considered like very important books. But again, they're literary fiction, which is not my most favorite genre, so while I think this might be a hard hitter, I don't know if it'll be a 5-star for me. And then we have The Lovely War by Julie Berry. This is basically tied for first place as my most exciting book on my TBR along with Scythe. This was the book that I wanted the most for Christmas this year, and I got it. I was so excited. As I've mentioned in previous videos, the concept kind of reminds me of The Book Thief, which is one of my all-time favorites, and so that has me very excited for this one. Big time expecting this one to be 5 stars. And then we have Firewall by Henning Mcnai, which is a book that I just kind of randomly got from a free little library. And so I really don't have any expectations one way or the other for this one, other than, again, it is kind of a mystery thriller. I have a lot of those on my TBR, even though it is not my most favorite genre. So not really expecting it to be a 5 star. Girl Online by Zoe Sugg seems like it'll be a fun read, but fun and fluffy, probably not a 5 star though. This Is Where It Ends is one of those books that I got in that sale along with The Cellar, which again had a limited number of choices there in that little sale section. So I think I'll enjoy this one more than The Cellar, but I still don't know if it'll be a 5 star. And then I have 13 Reasons Why, which I watched the series, which was just kind of a meh, guilty pleasure situation. So I'm not expecting this to be 5 stars at all. It's another one that I picked up at a free little library, and I figured why not. And then I have Love and Luck, which is a companion series, and I'm pretty sure Love and Luck is actually the second book in the series, but since it's a companion, I don't know if it really matters if I read them out of order. And again, this I think will just be a fun, fluffy read, but not a 5 star read. And then I have The Black Kids, which I won actually from BookConline this year, so that was really exciting to win something. And I was pretty excited to win this one. It's got a really beautiful cover, and I think it'll be an exciting and educational read as well. And this one I'm kind of hoping will be a 5 star read. Then I have Before I Fall by Lauren Oliver, who also wrote Replica, which was the kind of big disappointment for me. And also this is kind of a Groundhog Day type of a story, which I usually really dislike those. But I saw the movie of this and I actually really liked the movie. So I think / hope I will enjoy the book. Who knows, the book might even be a little better than the movie, as it usually goes. But I still don't really expect it to be a 5 star read. And then I have Leviathan by Scott Westerfield, and Scott Westerfield is one of my favorite authors, and I'm really interested in the kind of steampunk vibe, although it does kind of give more of a sci-fi vibe, which again, sci-fi is not always my cup of tea. But regardless, I'm pretty excited for this one. This is one of the most exciting ones on my TBR, and I'm hoping that it'll be a 5 star read. The Uglies series for me by Scott Westerfield was a 5 star read. Afterworlds was a 5 star read. And the Zeros trilogy was a lot of fun. The first book was a 4 star read. So I'm hoping this one will be another 5 star one from Scott Westerfield. Then I have A Totally Awkward Love Story. Again, kind of a fun, fluffy book that I don't really expect to be a 5 star. After that, I have Eliza and Her Monsters, which I am hoping will be a 5 star. It reminds me a lot of Fangirl, which is one of my all-time favorite books. And so yeah, for that reason alone, I'm hoping that this one will be a 5 star as well. Then I have The Black Panther, The Young Prince by Ronald L. Smith. This is one that I got from Disney Movie Rewards. I cashed in my points for this one. They have never had books on that site before, so it was really exciting when I saw that, and I cashed them in immediately. But that being said, book tie-ins for movies I typically don't really like. I have high hopes for this one. I really liked Black Panther, but I just don't know. I have reservations because it's a movie tie-in, so don't know that I expect it to be a 5 star read, but I'm hoping I at least enjoy it. And then I have Autoboyography by Christina. This one I honestly bought basically based on the beautiful cover. But once I did read the back, it does sound like a very interesting concept. I think I'll enjoy reading about a main character who's writing a book during the course of the story, but I don't know if it'll be a 5 star. Then I have No Offense by Meg Cabot, which again I'm hoping will be kind of a fun, fluffy read. I didn't like the books of The Princess Diaries growing up. I loved the movies, but I did not like the books. And this is the only Meg Cabot I will have been reading since all those years ago with The Princess Diaries, so I'm a little worried about that. After that, I have Breathless by Jennifer Niven, which again was another book kind of at the top of my Christmas list this year. Holding Up the Universe by Jennifer Niven is one of my favorite books. It's a 5-star book for me. All the Bright Places is a 4-star book, so I have high hopes for this one. I hope it'll be a 5-star. And then I have The Library of the Unwritten, which was another book that I kind of just randomly threw on my Christmas list because I heard about it on BookTube. The concept sounded really cool, and so I just added it on a whim. So I don't know too much about it, so I don't know if it'll be a 5-star read or not. And then finally I have the Shadow and Bone trilogy. This was another Christmas gift. Last year I read the Six of Crows duology and I liked it quite a bit. It's just so well constructed, but both of those books were 4-star reads for me, and I have heard that people tend to not like Shadow and Bone as much as Six of Crows, so I don't know if these ones will be 5-star reads for me. I'm hopeful that I will like them as much as Six of Crows at least, and they'll be 4-star reads. And yeah, that is my entire TBR with my sort of predictions about which ones may or may not be 5-star reads. I feel like I had a lot of 5-star predictions in there, but it's just because I always hope that a book will be 5 stars. Wouldn't it be nice if they all were 5 stars? Although it will be a while before I know how some of these predictions pan out. My TBR is currently about 70 books long, not taking into account the fact that like every 3 books I reread a book. So if you take that into account, it's more like 90 books long, and I read about 45 books a year, so my TBR is 2 years long, which is kind of disturbing, but that's where we're at. I am trying, and I have been mostly succeeding in maintaining the size of my TBR. I'm trying to not let it grow anymore. It's helpful that I have the book cart and this, it creates a very specific amount of space that I have to store my TBR on. So yeah, just working my way through it. Let me know down below some of the most exciting books on your TBR. Thanks for watching. Remember, words matter.